I guess I decided to finally use the degree that I've studied for 4 years to get on this channel for at least one video, and that's just simply talking about one of the most ridiculous elections that we'll see in the world probably this year. And I'm talking about the Clacton by-election in England for one very special reason, and that is Count Binface has probably the best chance he's ever had to win a single election in his entire life and his entire existence as a politician on this planet. And so I kind of need to set the scene because this is an absolutely crazy thing to talk about. But basically, what's happening is that Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, has been under investigations, and these investigations are looking into Nigel Farage's, I guess, activities like a £5 million gift that he got, his lobbying with cryptocurrency and his potential enrichment of himself with cryptocurrency, the amount of properties that he has and the gifts that he receives. Basically, what happens is that he's getting investigated for all this stuff that he most likely did, and as a result, he's under a lot of scrutiny. So what he did is basically resign from his position and say, "Hey, I want to show that the people in Clacton still want me and that I'm still a wanted politician. So I'm going to resign, and then once I get elected, I'm going to show all you that I'm actually someone that you want that is wanted to be in parliament." And the reason why Count Binface has a massive chance at winning here is not because he's a legitimately strong candidate. It's because every other major political party in England has kind of tapped this as a act of showmanship. Basically, it's just Nigel Farage just kind of making a big deal of it, and it's going to be a waste of time for any other political party to win. And so as a result, really the only other known candidate that has decided to take up Nigel Farage in this election is Count Binface. And Count Binface is a legitimate character, but let's see kind of the media that's been going around with Count Binface. And he made his original post saying that he was going to run for the Clacton by-election against Nigel Farage with this post right here, where it's like a 240p post of him, the bat signal. As you can see, it's very not zoomed in any capacity. It's kind of cropped weird too. You can see that there's like even weird cropping on the side here, but you would expect nothing else from Count Binface himself running for the Clacton by-election right here. And because he is possibly the most well-known challenging candidate, he's actually being brought onto like some media cycles to kind of just see what's going on with this guy and like what he's even thinking about running on. Like what is his goal here? This is kind of one of the best like quotes of the entire election, which is just people asking, "Well, you don't even live in the district you're running in. What's the deal around that?" And so BBC asked him, "Have you ever been to Clacton?" And he said, "No, because I understand from the current income that is part of how you do the job." Basically, just saying that Nigel Farage has never entered Clacton at all, or like doesn't ever really visit it, and so he's kind of just taking a dig at Nigel Farage. That's kind of like the entire point of his character is just to attack politicians for funsies, and he's just kind of a satirical character at this point, shitting on any politician that he can, and he's just kind of making a point that Nigel Farage probably doesn't ever visit Clacton in any capacity. He's also had like more time on the BBC, and a big deal about this is that if he somehow pulls off a win, he has to, I guess, take off the mask that he wears because there's a rule that you can't really wear headwear or head attire in the halls of Parliament, and so he's kind of been asked, "Well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen if you win and you have to take off the helmet?" And let's see how he responds to this.
Why don't you bin off the bin on Newsnight now? We know that your name is John, and we know really a lot about you. Isn't this time for serious times to bin off the bin?
Oh, here we go. I mean, has anyone here seen Return of the Jedi? Nobody wants to know what's underneath a recyclone. It's disgusting. It's absolutely putrefying. No, if you want to be serious with me, I'll tell you, you want to talk to Count Binface, and then you get me on Newsnight, and you start trying to deconstruct a character. I would say, what are we doing here? On a programme which used to construct proper investigative journalism, and now is a souped-up podcast, Paddy.
Well, I mean, a souped-up podcast is where people want to know about transparency, and this is the point. You're not transparent, and that's the criticism being made of Nigel Farage.
I don't know why BBC is being so antagonistic of Count Binface. Like, bro, you have a dude named Count Binface on your thing, and like, obviously, he would have to take off his helmet at some point. But just to make that such a big thing and say, "Oh, you're not being transparent. Oh, you're being so mysterious," and even though we all know who you are, like, just let it happen. Just let it go. Like, I can't believe that they're legitimately trying to attack the ethics and the morality and the transparency of Count Binface. And so with all these attacks on Count Binface, they're trying to hurt his name. I think a lot of people have also said like they're trying to paint him as an establishment like piece, an establishment politician, which is kind of probably one of the most ridiculous attacks on any sort of politician in any capacity. Because one, I think he ran against Andy Burnham, who is going to potentially be the prime minister, and he comes from the Labour Party. So he ran on one of the positionally opposed parties. He ran against one of the positionally opposed party leaders, for one. So they can't even say like, oh, he's a Labour establishment because he ran against a Labour MP. And so, like, that's one of the crazy things. And two, he's a motherfucker with a bin on his head. How can you even attempt to say that this is an establishment piece when he's effectively been trying to run spoiler the entire time in his political career? But it's important to, I guess, look at the potential policy behind Count Binface. You know, what does Count Binface want for the people of the United Kingdom? What does he want for everyone? And it kind of dates back to his 2019 first election when he first jumped onto the stage as Count Binface. And let's just kind of look at the policy that we've got listed on his Wikipedia page. He has some wonderful policies such as nationalizing Adele, giving free broadband to everyone, make Piers Morgan zero emissions by 2030, sending £1 trillion a week to the NHS, moving the hand dryer and the men's toilet at Uxbridge Crowns and Treaty Pub to a more sensible position. He also ran 2021 for the London mayoral election, just a bunch more policies. Let's see his most recent policies in 2026. He wants to build at least one affordable house, cap the price of a 99 flake at 99 whatever pence, and that the price of a Wigan kebab be capped at £2. I mean, this is simply exactly what we want from our candidates. These are the sensible policies we are looking forward to and having our politicians and having some sense be put back into politics. It's just, we've been looking for so long to have someone with actual legitimately useful politics be someone who's running for office. And so I guess the question kind of just whittles down to, do we think that Count Binface can win? And as a expert on the topic, fuck no. I don't think he has a single chance. I'm pretty sure Clacton is a majority conservative district. I'm pretty sure it's a majority conservative district. Now, do I think that Count Binface will probably get the most amount of votes he's ever gotten? Probably. I mean, once again, not a lot of parties that are running. None of the major parties other than Reform are running. And I think one of the only other like groups I've seen running against him are like the Raving Monster Looney Party, which don't even know if that's gonna get many votes. But I think because Count Binface is like the poster boy for running against Nigel Farage in this election, I think he's gonna get the most votes we've seen. And it's just gonna be an absolutely kind of embarrassing moment for Nigel Farage because he's trying to like do this as a show of power. And then the candidate that he's running against is a dude who dresses up as a bin and is kind of just acting as a satirical counter to any sort of politicians. So we just have to let this ride and see how close Count Binface makes this race. If he wins, it would probably be one of the biggest upsets in politics history, but at the same time, one of the funniest moments in politics history because that's just absolutely insane. And it's absolutely ridiculous that he even has a chance more than he's had. I think the most votes he's ever gotten in an election is 95, which, you know, nothing to scoff at. That's like a lecture hall at some colleges. But still, it's just going to be a treat to see how Count Binface runs his campaign. And we can all just watch and hope that he somehow wins this election.